1. The University of Texas Tower, the very first mass shooting in America to play out on live television. The killer was 25-year-old Charles Whitman, a former Marine and engineering student. The night before, he killed his mother and his wife at their homes, then wrote notes trying to explain why. The next morning, Whitman disguised himself as a maintenance worker and carried a footlocker full of guns and ammunition up to the observation deck of the UT Tower, 28 floors above campus. Just before noon, he started shooting at people walking below. For 96 minutes, Whitman fired down at anyone in his sights. Police had never dealt with anything like it. Regular citizens grabbed their own hunting rifles and fired back to help pin him down. Finally, two police officers, Ramiro Martinez and Houston McCoy, climbed the tower and shot Whitman dead. 17 people died that day, including an unborn child. It was the deadliest mass shooting in the country's history at the time. 2. Columbine High School. Two seniors, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, had spent almost a year planning this. They planted propane bombs in the cafeteria, timed to explode at lunchtime and kill hundreds. The bombs failed to go off, so instead, the two walked outside the school with guns and started shooting. They moved through the hallways and into the library, where dozens of students were hiding. Teacher Dave Sanders spent his final minutes helping students escape instead of saving himself. After about 45 minutes, Harris and Klebold turned their guns on themselves. 13 people died that day, the moment active shooter entered the American vocabulary. 3. Red Lake Senior High School. The killer was 16-year-old Jeff Weiss, a student who idolized Columbine and had been struggling for years with depression and isolation. That afternoon, Weiss shot and killed his grandfather, a tribal police officer, and his grandfather's girlfriend at their home. He took his grandfather's police weapons, vest, and squad car and drove straight to his old high school. He shot and killed an unarmed security guard at the door, then moved into a classroom and opened fire. One student, Jeffrey May, tried to fight back, stabbing Weiss with a pencil so classmates could escape. May survived, badly wounded. Police arrived fast. After a short shootout, Weiss retreated to an empty classroom and killed himself. 9 people died, including Weiss. It remains the deadliest school shooting in Minnesota's history, and one of the quietest tragedies in the national conversation. 4. Virginia Tech. The killer was 23-year-old Sung-Hui Cho, a senior with a long, documented history of mental health struggles that had alarmed teachers for years. Just after 7 a.m., Cho shot and killed 2 students in a dorm room. Police believed it was an isolated, personal incident. Almost 2 hours later, Cho walked into Norris Hall, chained the doors shut behind him, and went from classroom to classroom. Inside one of those rooms, 76-year-old Professor Liviu Librescu held the door shut with his own body so his students could climb out the windows. Every one of them lived. He did not. 32 people died. Cho killed himself as police closed in. The 2-hour delay in warning students changed how every university in the country handles emergency alerts today. 5. Sandy Hook Elementary. This is the hardest one to tell. The killer was 20-year-old Adam Lanza. That morning, he shot his own mother at home, then drove to the elementary school he'd once attended, armed with a rifle. Principal Dawn Hawksprung and school psychologist Mary Sherlock ran toward the sound instead of away and were killed trying to stop him. Teacher Victoria Soto hid her students in a closet and lied to Lanza, telling him her class had already left for the auditorium. Other teachers and staff shielded children with their own bodies. Lanza took his own life as police arrived. 26 people died that day, 20 of them just 6 and 7 years old. Their families built Sandy Hook Promise, a program now used in schools nationwide to help spot warning signs before tragedy happens. 6. Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. The killer was 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, a former student who'd been expelled the year before and whose troubling behavior had already worried teachers and even the FBI. Cruz arrived by Uber, carrying a rifle case, walked into Building 12, and opened fire in the hallways for about 6 minutes. Assistant coach Aaron Feiss tried to shield students and got killed. Athletic director Chris Hickson and teacher Scott Biagel died the same way. Freshman Peter Wang, a JROTC cadet, held a door open so classmates could get out, but he didn't make it through himself, and was later buried with military honors. Cruz blended in with fleeing students and was arrested over an hour later, miles away. 17 people died. What happened next was different. Survivors and some teenagers built March, and within a month, Florida raised its gun purchase age to 21. 7. Oxford High School. The killer was 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley, a sophomore whose parents had bought him a handgun as an early Christmas present just days before. Teachers had already flagged disturbing drawings and notes from Crumbley that same morning, one showing a gun and the words, "The thoughts won't stop, help me." His parents were called in but refused to take him home, and no one searched his backpack. Minutes later, Crumbley walked out of a bathroom with the gun and began firing down the hallway. Teachers heard the shots, locked their doors, and barricaded them, which is the reason he was never able to get into a single classroom. Deputies arrested him within minutes. 4 students died. For the first time in American history, parents were criminally convicted for failing to secure the weapon and act on the warning signs, a case that's already reshaping how the law treats parental responsibility. 8. Robb Elementary School. The killer was 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, a former student. It was supposed to be a day of celebration, an award ceremony, the last day before summer break. That morning, Ramos shot his grandmother at home, then drove to Robb Elementary and entered through an unlocked back door, carrying a rifle he'd bought just days after turning 18. He entered a 4th-grade classroom and opened fire. Teachers Eva Mireles and Irma Garcia died trying to protect their students. What made this day even more painful? Nearly 400 officers were on scene, but waited over an hour in the hallway while trapped children called 911, begging for help. 21 people died, including 19 children. We tell these stories so the people in them are never just a headline. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and feel free to drop your suggestions for the next video in the comments.